going on? I'm going to hopefully give you a tutorial, a little brief explanation on how to make this lead screw. So I've currently got mine assembled, and I think by showing you how it works assembled, then taking it apart a little bit, showing you what that looks like, and then putting it back together. Hopefully that'll give you a pretty good idea of how to get this thing working. So let's point out a couple things. These shaft collars are really important because they keep the worms smushed tight together. You don't want any gaps between each of the worms. Also, these are the big worms, not the little worms. So they got these big grooves in them. That's what fits inside this gray piece. Then this right here is your slider, and it's moving back and forth on a track. So that track is the piece that's shaped like that, okay? Also, very important are the shaft collars on the ends that keep the axle from moving. So you want the axle and the worms to just stay in place and be nice and tight and rotate. So you're getting that rotary movement from the worms. And then the output is the slider moving back and forth. So you're getting the linear movement out of the slider. So what I'm gonna do is take off the shaft collar on this end. Okay. Then I'm going to take off the shaft collar on this end. I'm going to pull my axle this way. I use spacers a lot just because it keeps stuff from touching. All right. My big worms are threaded onto that gray piece. So in order to unthread them, I have to turn the axle. The slider will pop right off the track. So this is probably a good place to aim for you. Have a gray piece here, have your axle in, but have enough space that you can get this guy on there, okay? So, my worms are bunched together, and there is a shaft collar, I got some space where I can get this guy on there. If you look at this, the gray piece is attached with a black bolt. Right there. And if I turn it over, you will see it doesn't come through. So you have to use the shortest black bolt to attach the gray piece to the green slider, okay? So once you have this built, you can just pop it onto your track and then hopefully get the axle inside of it. Whoops. So first, I'm gonna put the axle inside of it, then I'm gonna pop it on the track. Now I'm just gonna slide it down here to the worms, and then I'm gonna take that axle and slide it so it comes out on that side. I'm gonna take my shaft collar, tighten it down so that my axle stays in between these two brackets. So now my axle won't go left or right, and all I need to do is thread the worms into this. Oh, I just realized what I did wrong. I gotta have my I gotta put my shaft collar on there. Again, I always use a spacer. I like spacers. Don't judge me. So I've got it on there. It's loose. Now I push my axle through and add the shaft collar at the end of the axle. Just pushing those worms together, making sure they're tight, and then I will tighten this shaft collar and do. Very good, eh? These green big worms should work. Sometimes they're just a little tight going on the axle, or sometimes they're just a little tight inside the gray piece. The more we use them, the more they get loosened up. Ta-da. All right, that was kind of a long video, but I hope it helps. Goodbye.